Jun is living out his college life to the fullest. He is good in studies, has his own apartment, and his group of friends isn't full of smelly virgin men. One night, as he is hanging out with his friends in his apartment, he gets up to get some more beer. He hovers around the door for a while as he steals glances at the black-haired baddie scrolling TikTok on her phone, and she gives him a side-eye too. Jun leaves the room with that, wishing that the girl named Shia had offered to come with him, and she does follow him, saying they should get some ice cream together. Jun gladly offers to buy her some and says that he will buy the biggest bucket for her so that she can gain some pounds and shake off the unwanted attention from other guys. Shia tells him that he may fail because boys like thick thighs nowadays, and then flirts with him, asking why he is so possessive when he is not even her boyfriend. Jun asks himself the same question. It is obvious that they like each other, but they don't mind being in this situationship either. They hold each other's hands and Shia pins Jun against the wall around the corner. She proceeds to kiss this lucky son of a bitch, and how I wish that it was me. After the kiss, they begin to walk to the grocery store as if nothing happened. And Jun still can't believe how he lucked out on the first day of his college life. He didn't have any idea what luck had in store for him when he boarded the bus to his newly rented apartment. He got a text from his high school best friend and crush Ju, who was the only reason he chose this university. She wanted to meet him to celebrate his admission into the college, and Jun gladly accepted it. He then immediately rushed to his flat to change his clothes because he couldn't meet his crush when he smelled like he had not showered for 3 weeks straight. As he reached the gate, he found the pretty Shia standing there playing with a lighter and minding her own business. And that was how it all began. Jun thinks she might be waiting for someone and goes inside his house. But when he returns, Shia is still there. He felt like he had seen her before, and out of curiosity, he asks if they have met before. She doesn't say anything, so he just walks away, forcing his 2 brain cells to remember her. Suddenly, he remembers that she is the idol Shia, whom his high school best friend literally worshipped. He turns around and asks Shia if she is the idol from the group Dream Suite. She affirms and starts walking towards him like a deranged lunatic, asking what he wants with her. She flicks the lighter on and heads right towards Jun, who has 0 survival instinct, and he doesn't even dodge it. Shia laughs at him, and Jun threatens that he can call the cops on her for this. She dares him to call the cops because she can always play the woman card and tell them that he is a stalker who has been bothering her. Jun knows what will happen to him if he gets caught even in a fake case, so he apologizes and explains that his friend is a huge fan of hers. He even does a cringy dance move of her group, and Shia is disgusted. Luckily for Jun, he gets a text from Ju and uses it as an excuse to run away. Shia tries to stop him, but he has already gone by then. Soon, Jun reaches Ju, who is shivering because of the cold. They go inside the cafe, and Jun tells her about his scary interaction with Shia and how he wants to stay clear of her. With that, they start catching up on lost time. Jun suddenly asks Ju if she has a boyfriend, taking her by surprise. She asks him why he wants to know that, and he asks if she wants to come to his apartment for some Netflix and chill. He immediately takes back that statement and says that he doesn't even have Netflix, so they should just hang out sometimes because he lives close to the university. Ju tells him that he doesn't need to explain himself because she would love hanging out with him too. They leave the restaurant after that, and Jun puts his scarf around Ju's neck like a gentleman because she is feeling too cold. He asks her to return it to him tomorrow unwashed, and then both of them go their separate ways. As Jun reaches his apartment, thinking how college is going to be fun, he finds Shia still waiting at the gate. He wonders if she is crazy or something to stand here all day, but Shia just walks up to him and asks him not to tell anyone that she lives here or she will beat the crap out of him. With that, she walks into the house and Jun chases after her, wondering if she lives on the ground floor of his place. Before he can even ask the question, Shia loses consciousness and falls to the ground. Jun panics and immediately calls for 911. The next morning, he is woken up by his doorbell's constant ringing. He gets to the door, wondering who the hell is trying to wake him up so early. When he opens the door, he is shocked to see Shia standing there. She greets him with a smile and says that she picked up some breakfast while returning from the hospital and asks if he would like to eat with her. Jun is dumbfounded by her attitude that has twisted and turned more than an Olympic gymnast, but he still wants no part of it. He tells her that he has already eaten breakfast and then shuts the door at her face. Shia tells him to open up and let her inside because she has just come back from the hospital. She says she just wants to treat him to something nice, but Jun doesn't believe her. Later, he goes to college, and just as the first lecture is over, he texts Ju, asking if she is free so that they can meet again. Ju replies that she is busy with her classes, so she can't make time for him today. She also apologizes that she forgot his scarf at home. Just then, one nosy nerd peeks at Jun's phone because his mama never taught him manners. The nerd and another one of Jun's friends ask if he is talking to his crush and then start teasing him about getting rejected. Later that day, Jun heads back to his apartment, dejected because he couldn't meet Ju. At the gate, he bumps into Shia again, who is acting quite friendly. He doesn't trust her at all, so he ignores her like he ignores the donation request pop up on Wikipedia and hurries inside. The same thing keeps happening over and over again, and Jun ignores Shia every time she tries talking to him. That doesn't deter her, and instead, she reaches his classroom in the college. She draws the attention of the entire class towards herself and then starts waving at Jun, who freezes in panic. Shia walks towards him and says that he should come with her since his class is over. Jun panics, wondering what to do, and to stop making things even more embarrassing for him, he grabs Shia's hand and runs out of the class. Once he reaches a quiet place, he asks her what the hell she wants with him. Shia says that she remembers that he was the one who took her to the hospital that day. Jun suddenly gets an idea and tells Shia that he can't accept her feelings because he already likes someone. Shia starts laughing at this Delulu idiot who thinks that every girl trying to be with him is interested in him. She tells him that she didn't fall in love with him because he saved her life. Instead, she wants to be friends with him because she has no friends. Jun tells her to talk to the girls of her class and remarks that there must be some of them in her apartment too. Shia tells him that there is no one there because she has rented out the entire apartment for herself. On hearing that Shia can afford 3 times the normal rent, he agrees to become friends with her. She has no problem, even though he is acting like a gold digger, and explains that she was suspended because of her wrong actions in the past. But now she is trying to change herself. She says that she wants to make more friends, and she thinks Jun is the best person to start because he lives right above her. Jun decides to accept her offer and asks for her number, saying they should have dinner together sometime. After that, they head out to their apartment, and Jun calls her name out loud. Shia suddenly puts her finger on his lips so that he doesn't reveal her identity to everyone. And Jun can feel the butterflies in his stomach. He asks why she did that, and Shia replies that she was just being naughty. She says that it is a good thing that he already likes someone else, because he is definitely the kind of person who becomes a clingy creep whenever a girl gives him a bit of attention, so he would not leave her alone. Jun thinks she is too arrogant, but he sees where she gets that confidence from. He tells Shia to rest assured because he is not going to fall for her, and then suddenly, she turns around and moves really close to him, asking what if she falls in love with him. Jun is flustered and says that seems unlikely because he has 0 riz. Shia walks ahead, saying she was just messing with him. But now Jun has started being tempted by her. Later, he goes to a fresher welcome party, where a senior asks him about Shia. He wants to date her if she is single, but Jun remembers her threat to smash his head if he reveals any details about her. He tries to avoid the senior's question, but the guy pours him a beer, and soon, Jun gets crazy drunk. Suddenly, he gets a call from Shia, who just called him to know when he is going to come back home. Jun starts flirting with her even without realizing it. And then suddenly, the drunk senior comes up to him and takes his phone to talk to Shia. Jun tries taking it back, and Shia thinks that he got in a fight with someone. Back at Jun's location, he is trying to comfort the senior who is puking by the roadside. His thoughts start wandering to Ju, when suddenly he sees someone looking like her. However, it turned out that alcohol was playing tricks on him, and the girl he saw is actually Shia. She approaches him with a beer bottle and realizes that Jun was not fighting with anyone, so she didn't have to bring a weapon with her. Jun is confused about how she found him, but then suddenly, the drunkard shoves him aside and begins introducing himself to Shia. She knows his intentions immediately and tells him to don't even think of approaching her with that ugly mug of his again. She tells Jun that they need to go back right now, and without even giving him a chance to reply, she grabs his hand. Jun feels his heart beating too fast, but then suddenly, the drunkard grabs his other hand, telling Shia to at least talk a bit to him. She tells him that she doesn't need to give even a second of her time to a loser like him. But when he starts yelling at her, this crazy bitch decides to put her weapon to good use. Jun realizes that things can get nasty quickly, but his senior is too drunk to back away. He takes off his cap and tells Shia to hit him if she dares, and then starts patting her head. Shia is furious now, but before she can smash this poor idiot's head, Jun intervenes. He tells the guy to get his hands off of Shia and then snatches the bottle from her. He takes a sip and then passes it on to the senior, asking him to show his manliness by chugging it all down. The man falls for it easily and starts gulping down the bear, and by the time he is done, He realizes that he got played as Jun and Shia are already gone. They run as fast as they can and stop in a silent alley, where Jun asks her what she was thinking earlier because she would have been caught red-handed by the police for assaulting a man. Shia gets upset on hearing this and starts crying so much that even Jun thinks that she is some deranged psychopath who won't hesitate in beating others. She sobs that she gets into trouble whenever she leaves the house, and even though she wants to break the pattern and live her life, things always turn out like this. Jun is shocked to hear this and says that he always thought she had some kind of anxiety disorder. She says that she doesn't want to be alone anymore, so she wants friends who will support her in tough times. Jun understands that Shia's past is complicated, and he says that he will be her friend and help her out. Shia is happy now and reveals that she actually bought the beer to drink with him after his party. He asks her how she even found him, and Shia shows him the banners that point to the freshman party of the different colleges. Jun begins exploring them one by one, and then he suddenly stops as he comes in front of the poster for Ju's college party. He immediately runs towards her, hoping to meet her, and Shia chases after him. He soon finds Ju and calls out to her. She turns around and smiles at him, waving excitedly. Jun gets his hopes up, thinking she is going to introduce him to her friends, but it turns out that the one Ju was waving to was Shia. She recognizes her as the popular idol, and everyone starts wondering if it is true. Shia gets a bit nervous as Ju approaches her and starts saying that she is her huge fan. However, the people around them finally recognize Shia as the idol with the troubled past, who violently assaulted her bandmate over a boy and then fled the country. Shia is angry now, and she thinks that Ju did it on purpose. She begins walking home, and Jun decides to stay with Ju instead of comforting her. Ju asks him if she did something wrong, and Jun tells her that it was fine. Suddenly, they find themselves too close to each other and get flustered. Later, Jun escorts Ju out of the party, but she finds no cabs or buses to go to her flat. She tries calling her friends, but none of them pick up, and she freaks out, wondering where to stay now. She tells Jun that her parents are super strict, so they won't be happy if she spends the night out, and he gets an idea to help her. Moments later, they are outside Shia's door with an offering of beer and snacks as they request her to call Ju's parents that she is staying over at her house tonight. Shia doesn't want to bother, but since Jun flatters her, she agrees and makes the call. Ju thanks her and then decides to head to her college library, but Shia tells her to just come inside. Once inside, they open the beers, and as soon as the girls get drunk, they quickly move over their rough first encounter and become friends. Jun goes to fetch some water for them, but when he opens the dusty cabinet, he finds a pack of cigarettes along with Shia's lighter. On the other hand, Ju is feeling too cold, so she turns on the heat, but Shia can't bear that, so she takes off her sweater and heads outside. He notices her going out and follows her to give his sweater to her, and a slight glimpse at his abs makes Ju feel a passing shower between her legs. Once outside, Jun tells Ju to wear his sweater even though she tells him she is fine. She then begins talking about Ju, and Jun reveals that they have been good friends since high school. Shia says she is jealous of such long-lasting friendships because all her friendships ended quickly. She begins crying, saying that they promised always to be by her side but broke all those promises and ditched her. Jun feels compelled to comfort her, so he puts his hand out for her to hold. Shia quickly takes it and then begins crying on his shoulder. Jun initially didn't want to bother with her, but now he wants to know more about her and help her out. Jun's next morning starts by puking out all the excess alcohol he drank last night as he tried to get his thoughts away from Shia. She sits outside the toilet poking fun at him, and when Jun comes out, he asks about Ju. Shia says that she left early in the morning after taking a shower because she didn't want her parents to smell alcohol on her. She then starts looking for her lighter, and Jun goes to help her before picking up the pack of cigarettes and asking if this belongs to her too. Shia immediately flushes it down the toilet, and Jun can't bring himself to ask her any more questions. Last night too, he wanted to ask why she was crying but couldn't dare to. He gets curious about her and almost looks her up on the internet, when suddenly Shia comes to him. She starts acting cute, and Jun feels butterflies in his stomach. To get rid of the sweet, uneasy feeling, he runs outside to throw the garbage. A month passes by rapidly, and everyone in the college teases Jun about Shia being his girlfriend because she always visits him. On one such day, as the drunk senior from earlier is teasing Jun about her, Shia arrives there. Jun gets happy, but then he sees that Ju is also with her, and he suddenly gets a bad feeling about it. Ju tells her that they plan to see the cherry blossoms and invites him to join them. Jun agrees, and they go to the garden, and Shia immediately begins clicking some pictures. Things get awkward between Jun and Ju as they are left alone, so they distract themselves by clicking pictures as well. Shia asks Jun to click some fake candids, and he finds her personality completely different from the simple Ju. who says that the cherry blossoms remind her of something. Jun eagerly asks what it is, and she tells him that it reminds her that midterms are around the corner. Later, they head back to their apartments, and Jun invites Ju to study with him for the midterms. She tells him to study with his classmates rather than her, and Jun gets dejected. Shia has figured out everything by now, so she shows Jun a pretty picture of Ju to throw him off guard. She then asks him if he likes her, and though he tries to refuse, he folds under zero pressure and asks Shia if it is that obvious. Shia says it is more obvious than the sun in the sky, and she is sure Ju feels the same about him. Jun cuts her off before she can even say the second part, as he believes that Ju is not interested in him at all. When she returned his scarf to him earlier, he learned from her friend that she kept it on her desk the entire time and didn't go to return it even when she was free. She refused him when he asked her to see the sequel of her favorite movie and had no hesitation to introduce him as just a friend to others. Even when Jun tried to take her out for dinner, she told him to call Shia as well. For all these reasons, Jun thinks that Ju doesn't want him to make a move on her. Shia thinks otherwise, and she sends all the pictures she clicked to Ju. Ju scrolls to the pictures, and one picture where she and Jun are quite close gets her heart racing. But as she saves it, she gets a text from her parents, and her expressions turn dark. On the other hand, Jun and Shia go back to the garden for Jun to finish his ranting session. He feels better after letting it all out, and then Shia offers to hold hands while heading back home. Jun feels flustered as he takes his hand and tries to convince himself that it is nothing. However, he can't stay in control of his senses and immediately bangs his head against a pole. A few days later, as Jun returns home from college, he runs into his flatmate Yun, who immediately asks him to come to a get-together with him. He says they are meeting 3 DTF girls from another college, and he just needed another guy to fill in the slots. Before Jun can even say anything, Yun counts him in and says he will send him the details soon. Just then, Shia comes there, and she gives Jun a teasing glance before heading in. Later, as Jun is busy studying, Shia barges into his room. He tells her to at least knock before coming in, because he could have been playing with his unborn kids. She gets close and tells him that they are well past that stage. She says that she knows about his group date in the evening, so she has a surprise for him. She tells him to get a shower before the surprise, and Jun wonders if Shia got desperate on hearing that he is going to see other girls. However, instead of losing his V card like he imagined, all he gets is a full makeup procedure from Shia, who says that she wants him to be the hottest guy at the group date tonight. She says that she wants to see how handsome he can look with some effort, and Jun is too afraid to ask her why she is doing this. So he decides to play along and says he will definitely steal the show tonight. But Shia forbids him from getting a girlfriend because then they won't be able to hang out like this. Jun tells her that getting a girlfriend won't change anything because they will still be good friends, but Shia tells him to think some more about it. She gets close to him and says that friends don't hold hands. Jun is flustered now, and he wonders what are Shia's real intentions. She always teases him like this, and he wonders if she flirts just with him or with everyone. Later that evening, the group date is organized in karaoke. Yun and another guy are already there with the 3 girls, among whom the orange-haired girl is already bored. One of the guys is a cringy music enthusiast who has been singing Not Like Us ever since he came here, while Yun is a nervous mess. The orange girl Ruoni can't believe she got ready for this, but then suddenly, Jun enters the room, and Ruoni is smitten by his looks. The other girls also find him attractive, and they quickly start getting chummy with him. They put their lipstick on him, but not in the way Jun would have liked. He nervously goes along with their charade while Ruoni just keeps stealing glances at him. The girls hand him over his picture, and he realizes that this is the same shade of lipstick that Shia wears. Just then, Yun tells Jun that as his punishment for coming late, he has to sing a song. He accepts the punishment and gets up to sing, and Ruoni hands him a mic. Jun begins singing, and Ruoni finds that his voice is good too. She thinks that he is exactly her type and decides to make the first move on him. Soon, the party continues, and everyone picks a partner and starts hanging out in separate corners. Jun is with Ruoni, and he suddenly finds her earring on the floor. He picks it up, and Ruoni puts it back in its place. Jun is curious about her ear piercings and asks if they hurt. She tells him that most of them don't, and he correctly guesses the one that would have hurt the most. Ruoni is impressed that he got it correct and tries seeing his ear to check if he has a piercing too. They are interrupted by the loud static of the mic. As Yun has an important announcement to make, he and his partner have decided to finish the night with the wedlock drinking game where the partners will drink with their arms linked, and the difficulty will go up with each spin of the bottle. The other 2 pairs get difficulty 1 to 3, and Jun wonders what difficulty 4 is going to look like. Ruoni whispers in his ears that they have to share the drink via a kiss, and both of them get flustered. It is Ruoni's turn to spin the bottle, and she hopes that it doesn't point towards her, which it obviously does. Her friends tease her if she prayed on the bottle to point towards her because she wanted to do difficulty 4 with Jun. They say that she has not been able to take her eyes off of him ever since he came here, and she tries to explain that it is nothing like that. Yun tells her that it does not matter, and she must play the game by the rules. Ruoni blushes as she turns towards Jun and begins heading closer. He wonders if she is really going to kiss him, but then Yun interrupts them again and says that she needs to drink something first. Ruoni quickly gulps a shot and then moves towards Jun again, who suddenly starts having second thoughts amidst this excitement and wonders if it is right for him to do so. Inside her mind, Ruoni is thinking the same thing. She came here to get over her recent breakup and finally saw a ray of hope in Jun. But she wonders if it is fine for things to move on so quickly. Jun is as tempted to kiss her as she is, but they hesitate at the last moment, and Ruoni gulps the drink down. Everyone thinks that she backed out because she didn't want to kiss Jun, and they tell him not to take the rejection to heart. However, Ruoni has not given up yet, and she quickly downs another shot to complete the game at all costs. Everyone is excited to see the kiss, but at the last moment, Jun stops her, saying that he can't do it. He nervously explains that this is his first kiss, and he doesn't think this setting is appropriate. Ruoni spits out the drink on his face, and everyone starts laughing at this loser. As his punishment, Jun has to go to the next room and sing a song there, and Ruoni sighs that she failed. Later, everyone gets out of the karaoke and wonders where they should go next, but Ruoni tells them that she drank too much and can't hang out anymore. Jun offers to walk her home, and she readily accepts it. They are both flustered as they walk, and Ruoni asks Jun if he really has never kissed a girl before. She asks about his dating life, and he tells her that he has never been able to confess to his crushes, and that is why he has always remained single. He then asks Ruoni about herself, and she stops as she tells him that she broke up with her longtime boyfriend just recently. She looks sad, so Jun goes to see if she is crying and lifts her hair from her face like a dumb ape. Suddenly, he realizes the silkiness of a girl's hair and begins wondering if Shia's hair is also as soft. He shakes that thought away and then escorts Ruoni back to her house, chatting and laughing all the way. Once Ruoni goes inside her house, Jun looks at his phone and finds a good luck message from Shia. He wants to tell her something, but as soon as he tries recording a voice message, his phone battery dies out. He realizes that even though he had a lot of fun tonight, he could only keep thinking about Shia. He begins running home, wishing to understand what his feelings mean. To his surprise, Shia is still up. She is sitting in the garden, playing with her lighter as she waits for Jun to return. Jun is happy to see her, and she asks him if he had fun. He tells her that he did, and then sits next to her, asking what she did. She tells him that she just holed up in her room, and Jun says that it is not so bad either. Just then, Shia notices the lipstick and asks how he got it. Jun immediately wiped it out as he explained that it is not what she thinks and the girls just put it on him. Shia replies that she thought that they had way too much fun, and Jun begins telling her about the things they did. He almost tells her about the wedlock drinking game, but then decides not to. However, Shia has picked up some hints and she gets jealous. She asks Jun to tell her more, but he says that it is a secret. Shia gets upset at this and keeps prying more. Jun thinks that the best thing he can do right now is stay silent. But even that doesn't help as Shia suddenly moves closer to him, saying she wants to do naughty things to him. Jun feels his heartbeat rising, and then suddenly, Shia kisses him. Hot damn. Deep down, Jun knew this would happen one day, but he was not ready for it. Just as he feels Shia's lips against his, he gives in to his desires and immediately pulls her close for round 2. Shia doesn't mind it at all, and after the passionate kiss, she goes back for round 3 and more. They keep going at it, but then suddenly, Jun pulls back as he feels something stinging his hand. He looks at his hand and finds that Shia accidentally fired off her lighter during the kiss. She takes his hand in hers and apologizes for stinging it. She tells him to go inside and put some ice on it as she heads to her apartment without another world. Jun's heart is still beating at 1,000 beats per minute, and he can't believe what just happened. He thinks that he needs to get this feeling out of his system, and he will be normal once he has a good sleep. However, that does not happen, and as he wakes up the next morning, he is still a nervous mess. He tries convincing himself that the kiss was just a dream, but whenever he closes his eyes, he sees Shia coming closer to him. He decides to head to the library because maybe books will get the lewd thoughts out of his mind. But as soon as he sees the bench, the scene from yesterday plays in his head again. As he is busy thinking about that, he sees a notice on the gate, looking for female housemates. Jun wonders if Shia wants to get some housemates and wonders why. Anyway, he goes to the library, but the only thing he can think of is Shia. He begins to wonder if she always had some feelings for him that he didn't notice, or did she just kiss him in the heat of the moment? He wonders why she went to her house without saying anything, and those thoughts pester him all day. In the evening, he knocks on Shia's door, and she comes running to see him. She doesn't say anything, and Jun brings up the sign on the gate, saying he can't stop thinking about it. He also wants to talk about last night, and Shia just smiles and lets him in. Once inside, her mood suddenly returns to normal, and she cheerfully says that they finally kissed last night. Jun falls to his knees on hearing this, and Shia asks why he is overreacting. She asks if it was his first kiss by any chance, and he falls to the floor. Shia gets flustered on hearing that she stole Jun's first kiss last night, but he tells her to talk about something else. They finally calm down, and then Jun asks her about the roommate wanted sign again. Shia replies that she wants to make more friends because the only people she hangs out with are him and Ju. Jun says that it is a nice idea and suggests that they all go out for dinner once his exams are over. Shia accepts the idea and then suddenly asks if she can hold his hand. Jun nervously puts his hand out and she grabs it gently. With their hearts beating erratically, Shia lays her head on his shoulder. From that day on, Jun gets reminded of their kiss at random moments, and he always freaks out. Soon, his exams are over, and he tries to calm himself because it is finally the day he, Shia, and Ju are going out for dinner. Just then, Ju approaches him with a bright smile, saying they haven't met in a long while. They talk about how exams went, and as always, Ju is a straight-A student. They decide to head to the library to study together, but it is fully packed, and they get allotted faraway rooms. Jun thinks that they can still meet in the break time, when suddenly one of Ju's classmates arrives there. They are quite friendly with each other, and Jun gets jealous as he sees the guy squeezing Ju's cheeks. He wonders how he will feel if she ever starts dating someone. Luckily, this guy is just a friend, and Ju asks him if he wants to have lunch together. He asks her if she doesn't want to eat out with her boyfriend, and she tells him that Jun is just a friend and he can just join them. Jun is deeply upset now, and he coldly tells Ju that he gets that she does not want to be alone with him. He immediately leaves, stating some urgent business, and goes to the rest area. He feels betrayed that Ju got close to another guy, but then he thinks that he is a liar who is in no position to judge her because he kissed another girl. He begins thinking about how Shia told him that she felt happy with him, and despite feeling good about it, he feels miserable about Ju. 2 years ago, they were students at the same coaching institute, and that is when Jun started developing feelings for her. One evening, as he was walking her back home, they talked about why Ju took a break from school because of some issues at her home. Soon, they reached her house, and as Ju was heading in, her dad came out and pulled her away from Jun. He angrily asked her why the hell was she so late and why she brought a boy to their house. Ju explained that he was just a friend from her coaching school, but her dad didn't care about that. He insulted Ju and her mom, calling them characterless s***s. Ju grew furious at this, so she threw her bag and told her dad that the biggest piece of bad luck she ever had was being born in his family. With that, she suddenly ran towards Jun, grabbed his hand, and bolted away from her house. When they stopped in a garden, Ju started laughing, and Jun realized what household trouble forced her to drop a school year. She just apologized for showing him something like this and asked him to forget it. Thinking back about that time, Jun realizes that Ju is still the same, and he is the one who has changed. As he is sitting there silently, Ju arrives there and asks him to come somewhere with her. She takes him to the rooftop, and Jun begins to wonder if she is finally going to make a move on him. He slaps himself to get out of those thoughts, and then they finally arrive at the rooftop. Ju tells him that the view from this place is amazing, and that is why she loves it. She points towards the city-line, and then Jun notices that there are many other people here. Ju says that everyone loves the vibe of the rooftop, and tells him that she didn't want him to bring him here because of that. He wonders if she was afraid that he would confess to her. But then Ju begins talking about how she had more confidence when she was younger. She thinks about how she rebelled against her dad and ran away from her house because Jun was with her. However, she doesn't speak that out loud and tells Jun that they should just head back. Jun asks her to wait and explain things, but Ju walks out without saying another word. The truth is that she loves Jun too and has always tried to be next to him. However, she knows that because of her scumbag of a dad, she cannot get into relationships, and that is why she doesn't want to give him any false hope. She leaves for home after that, and when Jun comes down, he is confused about what is wrong with her. The next day, Shia wakes him up by ruffling his hair, and Jun blushes as he sees her. He asks why she is here, and she tells him to wake up because he is bored. He asks her to let him sleep because he has to cover up the sleep deficit during the exams, and she should find other friends. Shia gets irritated at this and flips him over, telling him that it is 3 in the afternoon and she is bored to death. Jun pulls the blanket back from her hands and tells her to buzz off. Just then, the doorbell rings and Shia's new housemate arrives. Jun finally gets a moment of peace and begins wondering why Zhu took him to the roof. Suddenly, Shia calls him to come down and help the girls move some stuff. He reluctantly gets up and goes downstairs and freaks out as he sees that Shia's new housemate is no one else but Ruoni. They scream at each other and ask how the other can be here, while Shia stands there with no clue. It turns out that Ruoni was looking for a new apartment a couple days ago, but nothing good was available online in her broke-ass budget. By coincidence, she passed the housemate wanted sign in front of Shia's gate and decided to try her luck. Shia came to see her fresh out of a shower, and Ruoni suddenly realized that she swings both ways. She came to business and asked if she could see her house. Shia showed her the room she was planning to rent, which was currently being used as her wardrobe. Her only condition was for Ruoni to not mind a guy friend who comes here often, and she was a bit concerned about that request. However, her attention went to the luxury purses in the room, and she started fangirling over them. Shia got them as sponsored content, so she was willing to let Ruoni have a few of them, and that was when she agreed to become her tenant with any conditions she had. However, now that she is face to face with Jun, she thinks that if she had known this earlier, she would have refused the offer. Shia doesn't know what is happening between them, but she still tugs at Jun and tells him to be nice to her new housemate. Jun tries to act nice and goes to pick up her stuff, but Ruoni carries it herself and says she doesn't need him. He wonders why she would be so upset when they just had one date and then went their separate ways. He remembers just then that Ruoni had texted him, and he left her on read because of the kiss with Shia. He finally realizes how bad his standing with her is right now, and in order to mend things, he carries some boxes and asks Ruoni where she wants him to put them. However, he says her name wrong and further pisses her off, shattering his hopes of getting along with her. Anyway, they are done placing all of Ruoni's stuff, who is getting along nicely with Shia. They are making plans for dinner, and Jun decides to make up with Ruoni by suggesting a good restaurant near his college. Ruoni agrees to that, but she has some sinister plans for Jun. Later, they get to the restaurant, where she pours tequila for Jun while she and Shia drink normal beer. He realizes she is doing this on purpose, but still drinks it and soon gets hammered. He becomes more playful, and Shia feels odd as she senses some connection between him and Ruoni. She goes outside to get some fresh air, and Ruoni immediately sits next to Jun, asking if Shia is the crush he was talking about. He tells her that things are complicated, and then they come out of the restaurant. Shia is standing around the corner, and she hears Ruoni complaining that Jun drank much more during their group date. He realizes that she is mad about being left on hold and explains that he got busy with other things. He suddenly starts thinking about his kiss with Shia and says that he can't forget it because it was his first time. This gives poor Ruoni the wrong ideas, and she thinks Jun is talking about his first group date. He begins talking about Shia and how she always stirs his heart, and he has started falling for her. Ruoni is on the 7th sky as she believes that Jun has fallen for her, but Shia doesn't know what to make of these statements. Suddenly, Jun collapses on Ruoni's shoulder, making her heart pound too loudly for her to bear. Just then, Shia appears and tells her not to mind this drunk guy's rambling. She kicks his foot to get him back to his senses and then begins smacking his back as she forces him to walk all the way to his house. Once Jun is in his bed, he finds Shia sitting next to him and smiling softly. She caresses his hair, and he does the same before pulling her close for a kiss. Shia happily lies down next to him, saying that they should make their relationship official, but Jun isn't sure. He says that no one will accept an ordinary guy like him as an idol's boyfriend, but Shia asks him what's the problem. She says that she likes him, and he is the perfect guy for her. She asks if he doesn't like her, and Jun says that he does, but he is still torn about his feelings for Zhu. He begins wondering out loud why she took him to the rooftop that day and then falls asleep. Shia doesn't care what he was talking about and lays on his arm, saying that she wants to live a peaceful, ordinary life. She doesn't want to become an idol anymore and wants to keep living like a normal girl with a loving boyfriend. The next morning, Jun wakes up to find her sleeping on her arm and thinks that she is really adorable. He is tempted to caress her hair, but then decides to let her sleep. However, as he is trying to sneak out of the room, Shia tells him that she is also awake. She tells him that he doesn't need to act as if something is wrong because they didn't even do anything besides sleeping. They come out of the room, and Shia suddenly turns around to scratch his patchy beard. She says that she wanted to do it last night too. And then suddenly, they hear the sound of things crashing to the floor and turn around to see a flabbergasted Ruoni. Jun and Shia help her pick up the trash while she tries to process what she just heard. She takes some time to realize that they both came from Jun's room and wonders if they did the deed, and Shia just nods her head. Jun tries to explain that it is nothing like that, but Shia says that they indeed slept together. Seeing the situation get worse, Jun runs out with the trash and doesn't return till late. After that, he begins searching about Shia online because he can't control his curiosity anymore. He finds that she had many outbursts of problematic behaviors like walking out of shooting without any reason and damaging public property. Jun is curious and wonders how much of this is actually true and how Shia turned into the girl she is today. To get the information, he decides to call his high school friend Guo, who was the biggest simp for Shia back in the day. Guo begins to curse Jun as soon as he picks up the call because he had once snitched to his mom about him eating outside. Jun tells him to forget the bad past and asks if he is still a fan of Shia. Guo's tone changes on hearing this, and he asks Jun why he wants to know that. Jun tells him that Shia studies at the same college as him and they are close friends, but there are too many things he doesn't know about her. Guo doesn't believe him and says that Shia would never befriend a loser like him. He then says that he doesn't like her anymore and cuts the call abruptly. Jun is even more confused now, and he keeps wondering about Shia's past. As he is hanging out at Shia's room later, he decides to stop being a stalker, and then suddenly, Shia comes there and kisses him. She walks away with that and opens the door for Ruoni, who is returning with some snacks. Jun realizes that even though they don't admit it, things are not the same between them anymore. As they are enjoying their snacks, Guo arrives at the gate with some food his mom has sent for Jun. He was already pissed at Jun, but then his mom compared them, saying that Jun got into a good college while he couldn't even manage to get a job. He angrily presses the doorbell and begins yelling, so Jun goes to check things out on the security camera. He freaks out as he sees Guo, because he knows that Guo is crazy after Shia, and if she gets angry at him, things would spiral out of control quickly. So he rushes to the gate to receive the food from Guo. He simply thanks him and shuts the gate, making Guo even more furious because he thought that Jun would at least invite him in. He curses him and starts heading home, but then suddenly, he hears Shia's voice. He thinks that Jun is living with his girlfriend, so he decides to snap their photo in secret and send it to Jun's parents to get even with him. He does some fancy parkour to climb over the fence and rushes to the window, but as soon as he sees a glimpse of Shia, he quickly drops his phone. For as long as he can remember, he had been crazy about Shia, and when he told Jun that he doesn't like her anymore, he was lying. He immediately rushes inside, tearing the door's lock as if it were cardboard. He fangirls over Shia, asking if he can hold her hand or click a picture. Jun quickly comes to intervene, and Guo opens the window to get his phone for a picture. However, Shia kicks him out and tells him to get lost. Guo is not one to give up so easily, and the next day, Jun finds him hovering over him as he wakes up. He asks how he even got here, and Guo says he climbed over the wall. He wants to ask about Shia, but Jun tells him to get the hell out. Later, he finds Guo sitting in front of the gate and tells him to just go home. The next morning, Guo arrives at his gate with some fresh tuna, and though Jun is tempted to accept it, he knows the real reason Guo is here. He tells him that Shia doesn't want to see him and asks him to respect her privacy. He shuts his door, and Guo leaves, furious at him. He says that he is done with Jun and Shia, but then suddenly, Shia opens the door and comes out. He immediately does a 180 and offers her the fish, and she takes it. Guo feels that it is the happiest day of his life. But then Shia throws the fish on the ground, telling him that she doesn't want anything from a stalker like him. Guo flips at this and begins yelling at her. Jun immediately rushes outside as he hears this and covers for Shia. He tells Guo to understand that he is trespassing on private property, and he should just leave quietly. Guo grabs him by the collar, saying he just wants to talk to Shia, but Jun says that she doesn't want to talk to him. He insults him, calling him a man-child and a disgrace to his mom, and dares him to hit him. Guo just throws him to the ground and walks away, saying that their friendship is over. He can't open the gate, so he just jumps over the wall again, and Jun curses him. He turns around to check on Shia and finds that she is trembling because she has no idea if she did something wrong and made people angry. Jun comforts her by the bench and then apologizes for the situation. She feels better next to him and then grabs his hand, asking him if he has any plans for the cultural festival. Jun tells her that he is setting up a stall with Zhu, and Xia tells him to cook an excuse and get someone to cover for him because she wants to go out on a date with him that night. Jun starts blushing on hearing this, unaware of how excited Zhu is for the cultural festival. The previous day, Jun and Zhu met in the university, where he told her about the entire fiasco with Guo. She laughed at Guo, and Jun said that he is really getting on their nerves right now, and Xia also wishes for him to be gone. Jun then said that they should talk about other things, and Zhu asked him if he contacted Guo in the first place because he was interested in Xia's past. She said that she was curious about it too, but asking Xia directly might be too rude, so she is not going to pry any deeper into it. She told him to stop digging into Xia's past because she would not like it. Jun's thoughts suddenly drifted to Zhu and why she had called him to accompany her on an errand when she had other friends. While he was thinking this, Zhu's foot suddenly slipped on the stairs, and thankfully, Jun grabbed her at the last moment. He saved her from a brutal fall, but then both of them got flustered because he accidentally got a handful of her marshmallows. Both of them laughed it out, and then Jun told Zhu to rest while he picked up her books. Suddenly, Zhu asked Jun to help her during the cultural festival, and he agreed, even though he wondered why she was trying to spend time with him when she had been trying to avoid him in the recent days. He thought that maybe he still had a chance with her, but now he begins considering not going with Zhu after all. In the end, he chooses to go on a date with Xia, who arrives fully dressed up and grabs the attention of everyone in the cultural festival. Jun is taken aback on seeing her, but then quickly puts her cap on her head, saying that people will recognize her like this. He even makes her wear his jacket for extra safety, and Xia calls him an old-fashioned male chauvinist. Anyway, they have fun together, and at the end of the day, as they are heading home, Jun feels a slight bit of guilt towards Zhu. Because of that guilt, he can't be confident about his feelings towards Xia and wonders if he should accept the change in his feelings. Xia keeps flirting with him, asking if he had fun on their date. Jun asks her if she is just messing with him or is she really into him. She says that she likes him enough to kiss him, and he tries to play hard to get, saying if he is going to make a girlfriend, she should be willing to do more than just kissing. Xia teases him and asks him to say all the things he wants to do to her. But Jun's thoughts wander off to Zhu again. He wonders if he had confessed his feelings to her earlier, would things have turned out better or worse? Xia snaps him out of it and starts teasing him again. She begins laughing as he blushes, and they are so lost in each other that they don't notice that they were near Zhu's stall. She had just finished her work, and just as she lifts her head, she finds Jun with Xia. It was not a shock for her, because Jun had already texted her that he was going to show Xia around since he owed her a favor. However, she knew that the truth was more than what he told her, and seeing them so close right now, she realizes that she was correct. Xia and Jun are still staring into each other's eyes when the loud music coming from the nearby stage disturbs them. Jun tells Xia that it is set up by the dance club, and she wants to check it out. He says that it is too late, but he can't refuse her, and they join the crowd. The performance ends soon, and then the host comes on the stage, calling anyone who wants to perform something or just confess to their crush on the stage for a cash reward of $300. The crowd is in an uproar because of this, and Jun laughs, saying that this might be a really good way for someone to confess to their crush. Xia, on the other hand, goes completely numb at the setting she is so familiar with and suddenly steps towards the stage. Jun panics as he tries to stop her, thinking that she is going to land them in a mess. Xia gets on the stage, and the host asks her to introduce herself. Xia tells everyone that she is an idol on break, and the audience quickly starts searching online for her. Some people recognize her as the idol from the band named Dream Suite, and a guy from the production also arrives there to tell the host what to do now. She begins asking Xia some questions and learns that she is enjoying the festival with a guy friend. She asks if she is going to confess her feelings to him from the stage, and Jun suddenly feels his heartbeat going crazy. Xia is still not showing any expressions on her face, and she says that she is going to sing a song. The crowd goes crazy for her, and the host gets a feeling that things won't turn out well because Xia doesn't really have a good reputation. Suddenly, Zhu arrives on the stage and introduces herself as Xia's friend, who came here to support Xia because she looked nervous. The host asks her if she is here to confess to her crush, and Zhu says that she has feelings for someone. Jun is overcome with curiosity and anxiousness as he wonders who the lucky guy is. He looks around to see if there is anyone worth noting and wonders if Zhu knows he is also in the crowd. However, Zhu declares that concealing one's feelings should be a private matter, so she is just going to sing a song today. Jun is relieved, and then Zhu starts singing his favorite song. However, she could very easily be the female giant, and everyone thinks that she is terrible at singing. Despite the negative responses, Ju does not lose confidence, and Jun starts clapping for her. The crowd joins him and starts cheering for Ju soon. Seeing this, Shia climbs down the stage and finds Jun waiting for her there. Tears start flowing from her eyes as she leans on Jun for support. He comforts her, thinking how he was a little disappointed that Shia did not take his name on the stage. He is even more torn about his changing feelings now and decides that he should soon reveal the truth to Ju. The next day, Jun goes to check up on Shia, who has not left her room ever since they returned from the festival. She does not answer him, so he begins leaving. But then Shia opens the door and pulls him in. She pins him to the door and clings to him, asking him not to leave her alone. He asks if she wants to eat something, and she replies, "You daddy," which makes Jun go crazy. She begins teasing him about his rapid heart rate, and then clings even tighter. Jun can no longer control himself, and he pulls her close for a kiss. He decides to leave after that, but Ruoni is watching TV outside, and Shia says that he will get caught if he goes out right now. She tells him to stay and he agrees. He kisses her again and takes her to the bed. Once she is on the bed, he starts having second thoughts and wonders if he should stop here or go all the way. He decides to be a man and see things through. He sits on the bed and looks towards Shia, whose expression has become cold and distant, and Jun feels the romantic tension between them dissipate into thin air. Jun wonders if he was the only one getting butterflies, because Shia doesn't even seem remotely interested in him anymore. They begin talking about unrelated things, but Jun can't bear it, so he starts talking about the incident last night. He tells Shia not to worry too much about it because people will forget it eventually, and thankfully, Ju helped her out by going on the stage and getting all the attention to herself. However, hearing Ju's name has the opposite effect on Shia. Jun asks her to treat her to lunch as a way to say thanks, but Shia says that she never asked for help. She complains that all the performers on the stage were lousy and she couldn't bear them, and Ju was the worst of them. She is pissed about that, and Jun asks what is up with her attitude when she couldn't even sing on the stage. Shia asks him if he really doesn't know why she is upset, but obviously, Jun has no clue. Just then, Ruoni knocks on the door to check up on Shia because she heard her yelling just a minute ago. Jun decides to take his leave, and Ruoni is not happy to see him coming out of Shia's room. She asks if he hurt her, but he doesn't tell her anything and leaves. Once he gets to his room, he plops to the bed, wondering why things suddenly turned like this. The next day, as he is leaving for college, Shia suddenly hugs him from behind and apologizes for the last night. Jun tells her that it is fine and then gets out of her grip, saying he is getting late for class. After class, he goes to help out Ju with the volunteer work on the last day of the cultural festival. Ju has become a local celebrity after her song went viral, but she doesn't mind the jokes and ridicule that come with it. She gets a text from Shia to come over to her place, but decides to refuse since her parents won't allow it. She says that it is a shame because she really wanted to go and spend some time together. Jun is taken aback at this, and he wonders if Ju wants to spend time with Shia or him. Anyway, they go on patrol duty together, and Jun asks Ju about the crush she mentioned on the stage. Ju loses her guard on hearing that and almost steps in front of the car. But Jun holds her hand and pulls her back. That cuts their conversation topic, as both of them get embarrassed. Later, the work is wrapped up, and everyone decides to head out for a group dinner. Jun and Ju decide to skip it and head to their homes. Once Jun gets home, he finds Shia waiting for him. She welcomes him, but as she tries holding his hand, he backs away. She clings on to him despite this, and Jun asks her to let him go because he has homework to do. He begins walking away, but then Shia gets up with a jolt and holds him back, asking why he has been ignoring her today. He confesses that being with her makes him feel good and hopeful, but he doesn't think that is right. Shia asks what the problem is, and Jun says that it is her mixed signals. He claims that he doesn't even know if she really likes him or if she is messing around. On top of that, he feels that it is wrong for him to be with her when he still has lingering feelings for Ju. He begins heading to his room, saying that they should just stay friends and without any benefits. Shia tightly hugs him from the back again, refusing to accept being put in the friend zone. Jun asks what she is doing, and she tells him that she is seeing how long he can ignore her. The next morning, as Jun heads to the common area, he is shocked to find Ju and Shia already there, working on a hot pot. Ju says that Shia invited him to eat hot pot for lunch, and she couldn't refuse. Jun says that he will join them after a quick wash and realizes that Shia is doing this on purpose to put him in a tight spot. After he comes down again, he asks Shia why she called Ju over this early in the morning. Shia says that she called her to vent out her boy problems because she has a guy who was giving her attention but has started to avoid her lately. Jun freaks out on hearing this, but tries to keep his cool in front of Ju. After the breakfast, Shia approaches him multiple times a day, trying to be as adorable as possible to win his heart. She asks him on a movie date, but Jun refuses her each time because he wants them to stay in the friend zone. The next morning, as he is heading to class, he finds Shia waiting for him at the gate. She looks upset after he just waves to her, so he gives her a snack he had been saving for later and feels like he is not mentally strong enough to keep her away for long. Later, in school, he finds everyone talking about Shia, who showed up there to meet Jun. He freaks out as she asks him if he would like to join her for drinks. He is about to refuse, but then he notices his pesky senior running towards Shia, so he grabs her hand and runs away towards home. He asks her why she came to the college even though everyone knows her true identity, and Shia replies that she just wanted to be with him. Jun realizes how flimsy the walls he put between them were, and he tells her that they will just drink at home. He tells her to head back first as he leaves to buy some beers, but neither of them notice a creepy stalker clicking pictures of Shia. Meanwhile, Jun buys some beers and then spots Ruoni eating and drinking by herself in a restaurant. He goes to talk to her and asks why she is drinking in broad daylight, and she says that he and Shia are the reason for this. She doesn't even know why she feels terrible when she sees Jun and Shia together and asks if things are fine between them now. Jun tells her that his defenses were too weak to hold back against her emotional warfare, and Ruoni feels even worse now. On the other hand, Shia notices the stalker who keeps clicking her pictures. She tries to avoid him, but he follows her to her home. At the same time, Jun returns from his little shopping trip and finds the stalker, unaware of his true intentions. He calls out to him, and the stalker runs away immediately. Soon, Shia also comes out running and asks Jun if he saw the guy's face, but he didn't. She doesn't tell him that he was a stalker, and they head in for drinks. A week later, as Ruoni is heading back from college, she can't stop thinking about Jun. She wonders if she has developed feelings for him when suddenly, Jun comes from behind her and pulls her bag. She freaks out, but he tells her that he was just checking if her bag was as heavy as it looks so that he could carry it for her. They begin to head home together, and all Ruoni can think about is the moments they spent together on the group date. However, Jun shows no interest in her and asks her about Shia, because after they drank together that day, she told him to go home early, and he has not seen her much ever since. Ruoni tells him that Shia has been holing up in her room ever since and wonders why Jun cares so much about her. She still thinks that he confessed to her that day when he was drunk, and that still counts for something. She decides to get over him, but just then, they reach home, where the stalker is lying in wait again. He runs away as soon as he spots Jun coming and almost bumps into Ruoni. Luckily, Jun pulls her close to save her from colliding with the stalker, and Ruoni completely loses her mind. Jun asks her if she is alright, and she feels more drawn to him than ever. Just then, Shia comes out, and seeing them together like this, she starts laughing to hide her pain. A few days pass by, and both Shia and Ruoni have been acting unlike themselves. Jun feels awkward because of this, so he suggests that they go to a barbecue party. Shia and Ruoni agree to the idea, but as they set up the outdoor grill, Ruoni says that a party with just 3 people looks too boring. Jun suggests that they call Ju, and Ruoni asks who she is. He tells her that she is a high school friend who used to hang out with them a lot. They invite her over, but she is not the only person on the guest list. Soon, Guo comes to deliver some fresh meat, and he and Shia stare at each other like old enemies. However, he immediately does a headstand apology before her, and she forgives him. Ju also arrives there just then with some extra ready-to-eat food and drinks. After her, Jun's housemate Yun also joins the party, and everyone has fun together. The stalker is still around, clicking their pictures, but they are too busy for him. Later, Ruoni notices the face of a new actor on the sausage package, and Ju says that she has seen him do other ads too. Ruoni says that it must be nice to be a celebrity, but those words don't sit right with Shia. She asks them what they think a day in the life of a celebrity is. Everyone says that they are glamorous with a lot of fans and money, but Shia tells them that they are missing a lot of important things. For starters, as celebrities, they have to get used to people clicking their pictures wherever they go and getting cameras shoved in their faces. People troll them online for no reason, and they have no privacy at all. Just then, Jun notices the flash of the stalker's camera. As the stalker is checking out the pictures, Guo suddenly grabs his camera. The stalker runs away, and Jun chases after him. He is just about to reach him, but then the stalker trips and falls into a garbage dump, and Jun crashes too. He manages to catch the stalker, and soon, Guo and Yun come to back him up. They bring the stalker back to the house, where he says that he is just a budding photographer who is working on his skills. no one buys his stupid lies, and Ju recognizes him as a student of their college. Yun checks the camera and finds that he is a habitual offender and says that they should hand him over to police. The man begs them not to do that, and then suddenly, Shia says that she doesn't plan to turn him to the police because they are no help at all. She has gone to police stations with such complaints before, but they told her that the photos were not showing too much skin, and they were not shared, so they won't do anything. Shia says that there are better ways to treat scumbags like them, and they should just rough him up. Jun tries to stop her, saying that they can't violate the law like this, but Shia says that he deserves to have a few bones broken. She picks up a beer bottle and says that it is good as long as they don't leave him crippled for life, and Guo takes the bottle from her, asking her to let him do the honors. Jun stops him, saying that they could get into trouble for this, and seeing his cowardly attitude, Shia goes back inside. Everyone begins wondering what to do with this guy now. But then suddenly, they hear the sound of glass shattering and turn to see that Ju has already smashed a bottle on the wall over the guy's head. She has always been one to bottle up things inside, and once in a while, all hell breaks loose as her stress exceeds its limits. She points the sharp glass bottle at the stalker, asking him for one good reason she should not gouge his eyes with it. That is exactly the kind of thing Guo wanted to do, and he goes to back her up. Jun is completely horrified and tries to call the cops, but Yun stops him, saying that right now, calling the cops is bad for them. He shows him the definition of a felony and says that what they are doing right now is a punishable offense. Inside, Shia is watching a YouTube video, but the only thing in her head are the memories of her bitter past. She kept getting pestered by the media, and her agent kept telling her to show more skin, because that is an easy ticket to success. Shia could not deal with all that, and she decided to quit the entertainment industry. She ran away mid-shoot and tried smoking her worries out, but that was not for her either. She keeps crying, but then Jun comes knocking, so she sobers up and lets him inside. She tries to avoid talking about the stalker, but Jun tells her that they dealt with him. They didn't call the cops because Ju got physical, but they managed to get his student ID and the memory card, along with a written promise that he won't do it again. Guo and Yun have gone to the stalker's house to delete any pictures from his computer as well, so she doesn't have to worry about that. Jun tells Shia that she is free to do whatever she wants with the stalker now, but she probably won't get much out of suing him. He begins to leave, but then suddenly, Shia leaps on him. She asks if she can kiss him, and Jun gets flustered. She teases him to rile him up even more, and then begins kissing his fingers one by one. Jun kinda creeps out, and they both have a good laugh at his reaction. After that, he quickly runs out of the room, trying to calm his racing heart. The stalker case is resolved with that, or so Jun thought. While Shia is not going to file a complaint against him, she plans to use the fact that he was a stalker to ruin his future and tip every company he tries to work at. Jun is afraid of her scary mode, but he tells her to do what she wants. Just then, Ju and Ruoni also arrive there because they have become BFFs with Shia. They hang out a lot together, and Jun wonders what to do with his feelings. He goes to Yun for advice, who tells him that even he thought of hooking up with Shia when he first saw her, but then decided against it because she has too much emotional baggage and he is not ready for that. He tells Jun to think hard about it, and if he is serious, he should not wait too long before confessing his feelings. Well, between his feelings and his college life, Jun gets too exhausted by the end of the final exams. He lays on Shia's sofa, asking her to wake him up in an hour because he needs to make it to a class get-together later, even though he is too tired. Shia tells him what about a good vacation with her in the semester break, and Jun is down with it. He says that any place is good as long as she is with him. But then Shia goes silent. He tries to see what is happening and finds her blushing like crazy. He gets flustered by her reaction, and they try to sort out their situation. But just then, the doorbell rings, and Ju is at their gate with her luggage to make their story a bit more challenging.